Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 235. Tesla continues to do very well in China, but the legacy automakers are being pushed out. But other EV startups are not doing so well with their EV sales and are still burning through cash. And Tesla's Model 3 Performance just lost to a performance EV from a legacy automaker. And new data shows that Tesla's full self-driving software is already much safer than a human driver. And we got a lot of Cybertruck news this week, and Figure just showed off their new humanoid robot, Figure 2. And a new study shows that long-distance green hydrogen imports will be up to 5 times more expensive than previously thought. No, you don't say. And GM has more software problems with their EVs, once again stopping sales. And Ford CEO Jim Farley said that 50% of their customers would be better off buying an EV. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Tesla continues to do very well in China, but the legacy automakers are being pushed out. As Roland reported on X, China reported 46,227 Tesla sales and a 2.7% market share for July. And the BEV market share was 28% in July. And the Model Y was the second best-selling car in the country. And out of Tesla's sales, 79% was the Model Y and 21% was the Model 3. It was the best first month of a quarter ever and is up 46% versus the previous one. And it was the best July ever, up 46% versus July of last year. And last 3 months is up almost 30% versus February to April. And year to date, we are now only missing 1% to have caught up with last year's numbers. So over the last 4 weeks, we have been going from 4% to 3.6% to 2.8% to 1.8% and now only missing 1%. Like I said a couple of weeks back, I think Tesla will catch up with last year's numbers in August, and they are still on track on doing so. But while Tesla is doing great in China and today has one of the best-selling car models in the country, the old legacy automakers are being pushed out of China. As Michael Dunn showed on this chart and in his newsletter, again, if we zoom out a bit, it is pretty easy to see what is happening. Like GM, that in 2017 sold 4.1 million cars in China, but in 2024 it is forecasted to only sell 1.8. Ouch. And the Hyundai Kia Group in 2016 sold 1.2 million, and this year is forecasted for 220,000 units. Volkswagen from 2017 of 4 million down to this year of 2.5. But Chinese number one car maker BYD, on the other hand, has seen sales skyrocketed. BYD sold in 2017 420,000 units, but this year they are forecasted to sell 3.6 million. As you can see, it is not Tesla you have to worry about in China. They were hardly present in China back in 2016 and 17 with sales and didn't even have a factory. But today, Tesla is producing close to 1 million vehicles in China and selling about 600,000 units domestically and exporting the rest. And unlike the other guys, Tesla owns 100% their own factory and earns 100% of the profits, where every other non-Chinese automakers is in a joint venture. So at best they earn 50% of the profits they make from selling their cars produced in China. Over the last decade, Tesla has risen in China from nothing to producing 1 million units, whereas the legacy automakers that has done the best has been cut in half. Others is 1/5 the size, and others again like Mitsubishi has been pushed out altogether, left the country, just like we saw Jeep that had declared bankruptcy in China. China is taking over in China, but they like Tesla for being the leader and forerunner of the EV revolution that is going to put China back on the map in the automotive industry. And one of the legacy automakers that is doing great when it comes to EVs, in my opinion, is the South Koreans. And their performance Ioniq 5N has just beaten Tesla's Performance Model 3 in a drag race. So CarWow made a drag race between the Tesla Model 3 refreshed performance and the new Ioniq 5N. And the Tesla came off the line the quickest as expected, as it does have a little quicker 0 to 60 time. But the 5N slowly gained on it, as it seems it has a little bit more power on the higher speeds and just beat it over the finish line. Very impressive. That is a nice little performance car from the South Koreans. But there is also one big difference between these two cars, and that is the price. Here in my country, where I can actually get both cars, as you don't have it yet in the US, the Ioniq 5N starts at 600,000 Danish crown, or the equivalent of $80,000. And the Tesla Model 3 Performance start at 459,000 Danish crowns, or about $67,500. So the Ioniq 5N is about $20,500 more expensive than the Tesla Model 3. So for something that is so similar in performance, it's hard to justify $20,000 more expensive price tag. And of course, with the Tesla you get full self-driving, and it's a safer car as it gets higher safety score at Euro NCAP and has much better software. And if we should be completely fair, the more expensive model of the 5N is the one that comes closest to everything that is included in the Model 3, because if you want ventilated seats, you have to pay another $3,000 on the 5N. So then the Ioniq is suddenly $23,500 more expensive than the Model 3, and you still can't get a screen in the back. So the Ioniq 5N is truly a beast, a great performance EV that will beat most cars out there, but still a bit on the expensive side compared to what Tesla is offering. The normal Ioniq 5 is more in line with Tesla's pricing, but the performance versions are not really in the same league in terms of price. But what a beast Hyundai has made here. Very impressive. And Top Gear also gave it the Car of the Year award last year. The jury described the car as a new chapter for electric cars and a new chapter for cars in general. It's a really fun car, period. But $23,000 more is probably a stretch for this car to make some significant sales numbers, but the normal Ioniq 5 is also growing as we speak and had a great Q2, but again, if we compare it to the sales of the Model 3, it's hard to really call it competition, as the Ioniq 5 family sold about 12,000 units in Q2 and Tesla's Model 3, well, sold at least 10 times that. And I think that is because of the lag in production. I of course don't know, but it's just hard to imagine that there is about 10x more demand for Tesla's Model 3 than Hyundai's Ioniq 5. So I really think the South Korean is making some excellent EVs, but they are still only aiming for about 45% of their production being BEVs in 2030. I personally think this is a bit too slow, especially here in Europe and China, but at least the Hyundai Kia Group is aiming to sell about twice the amount of EVs in 2030 than Toyota is. Hyundai Kia is aiming for just above 3 million BEVs in 2030 and Toyota about 1.7. So I think the South Koreans are doing a great job and doing the right things, but probably just a little too slow in my opinion, and they probably need to lower their prices of their performance EVs as well. Because the car is great, but the price is a bit too high. Just like we see with many other automakers out there with their performance EVs, like the BMW i4 is also a very nice EV with good specs, but it's also about $15,000 more expensive than the Model 3 Performance. So, like I've said so many times before, Tesla's EVs are just the best value for money. Apparently, NASA has quietly been working for weeks with SpaceX on a potential rescue mission for Wilmore and Williams, the two astronauts that are stuck on the ISS, because Boeing's Starliner doesn't work. A NASA official acknowledged internal disagreement on safety of Starliner returns. During a news conference on Wednesday, NASA officials for the first time publicly discussed divisions within the agency about whether the Starliner spacecraft is really reliable enough to return the two veteran astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, back to Earth from the International Space Station. NASA also confirmed key elements that NASA has quietly been working for weeks with SpaceX on a potential rescue mission for Wilmore and Williams, that the Crew 9 mission launch has been delayed till September 24 to account for this possibility, and that Starliner is unable to undock automatically with the current software configuration on the vehicle. Yes, it's not the best time for Boeing. They are having trouble with their planes and their space rockets. And it took them 4 years longer to get ready for a manned mission to the International Space Station than SpaceX. But when they finally get them up there, the space capsule failed. And maybe they will get bailed out by SpaceX. That would be such a big slap in the face of Boeing if SpaceX has to come to their rescue. But SpaceX has just become the all-dominating force in the space industry. Elon did also confirm that SpaceX was still on track on delivering about 90% of all cargo to space in 2024. It is just crazy how dominating they are in the space industry. There is no one close. There is no space race. There's just SpaceX. And the test flight 5 of the Starship and Super Heavy booster are ready to fly, pending regulatory approval. Additional booster catch testing and Flight 6 vehicle testing is planned while waiting for clearance to fly. Crossing fingers they will try to catch the booster, but sounds like it's more likely for the test of the Flight 6. And their president, Gwynne Shotwell, also had this to say in an interview this week about Starlink. Maybe a little hint to the US government that all they need to do is ask SpaceX for help, and they can fix it all for them.
But fiber can be $10,000 to $30,000 per mile, $10,000 to $30,000 per mile. I can bridge that gap with one Starlink kit, which is $500 and service depending, $50 to $100 a month service. So what we really want to make sure folks understand is, yeah, we can serve cities, but we can't serve everybody in cities, right? But we can serve everybody in rural U.S. and semi-rural
Everybody
populations.
in rural U.S.
We could.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But other EV startups are not doing as well with their EV business. They are still losing a lot of money. ADA shared an updated chart on free cash flow history of EV makers, and as you can see, Tesla remains the only EV maker which achieved a lifetime positive cash flow. The other 10 EV makers in this chart accumulated $63.6 billion in negative free cash flow, total cash burn, of which 64% or $40.4 billion is driven by the top 3 most cash-burning EV makers, and that is Rivian, Lucid, and NIO. Rivian alone accounts for 34% of total cash burn. And Rivian did lose about $33,000 per vehicle they sold, according to their CEO on the earnings call in Q2. So it looks like they still have a long way to go to get free cash flow and become a profitable company, as it did not sound on the earnings call that they will become profitable in 2025, and in 2026 they expect to ramp up new production line of new models, so that is going to lead to some more cash burning in the beginning, so I don't think we should expect them to be profitable in 2026 either. Probably not before 2027 at the earliest. And if you think, well, they are also much younger company than Tesla, well, not really, as Tesla was founded back in 2008 and Rivian in 2009. And just look at the difference here, and that Tesla is selling 1.8 million EVs and Rivian around 50,000 EVs. It really just showcases what an amazing achievement it is what Tesla has been able to do here. But Rivian might be number 1 on the leaderboard when it comes to losses in total, but they still have about $7.8 billion left to spend after they raised $1 billion during 2024. But they are still losing about $1.45 billion per quarter, and they have lost about $2.9 billion in the first half of 2024. But Lucid is still number one when it comes to losses per vehicle. And when we look at their operating margin, Lucid's Q2 operating margin was negative 393%, and that makes Lucid globally by far the most loss-making automaker relative to sales. But Lucid did get a $1.5 billion capital injection from the Saudis. This applies Lucid's current total capital amount to $4.5 billion. This provides about 3 to 4 quarters of additional runway before another cash infusion is required, and still nowhere close to become a profitable car company. But of course, Lucid CEO Peter Rowlands took a few jabs at Tesla at the earnings call. As he said, Lucid is many years ahead of Tesla. In fact, using publicly available EPA data, we estimate that if the closest competitor, Tesla, were to continue its rate of operational efficiency progress, it would take them many years to match where Lucid's core EV technology is today. Well, dear Peter, you do have a very nice EV, no doubt about it, but you sell about 9,000 units a year. You delivered 2,394 units in Q2 and had revenue of $200 million. You are pretty irrelevant in the car industry. And Tesla sells about 1.8 million units a year. I don't think people care too much about your EPA superiority. They want a good EV for a good price. You got a good EV, but not for a good price. And you're still nowhere near being at scale in production. You know, the hard part, as Elon always says. So let's see if you can survive long enough for Tesla to catch up to your great EPA ratings. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. Germany is down this year in EV sales, and as we have talked about before, that of course has a big effect on the rest of the European EV growth, as Germany is the biggest market in Europe, but other big markets like France and the UK, they are still up this year. But in my country of Denmark, we have not taken the foot off the accelerator. In July, a historical record was set as EV made up 51.5% of the overall new car market. At the same time, the import of used electric cars continues to be extremely high, and when used import are added to the July numbers, the electric car share reaches 64%. This means that almost 2 out of 3 new purchased cars are fully electric. And if you meet people that think Tesla's autopilot software is not safe, show them this chart. Because Tesla has revealed that in Q2 2024, they recorded 1 crash for every 6.88 million miles driven, in which drivers are using autopilot technology. Their best Q2 number ever. For drivers who were not using autopilot technology, Tesla recorded 1 crash for every 1.45 million miles driven. By comparison, the most recent data available from NHTSA from 2022 shows that in the US there was an automobile crash approximately every 670,000 miles. And if you think Tesla owners have not driven very long on autopilot, well, they have now collectively driven over 1.6 billion miles on full self-driving, according to the company's Q2 earnings report. So already much safer than a human. And Elon shared that X is now the preferred news app in 120 countries. And I understand why. This is also where I spend most of my time gathering news as well. And X is now the #1 news app in the US, leading both the free and crossing categories on the App Store. But Elon didn't know anything about running a media platform. Yeah, right. And it's not only X that is filing a lawsuit.
Hey, everybody. I was shocked by the evidence uncovered by the House Judiciary Committee that a group of companies organized a systematic illegal boycott against X. It is just wrong, and that is why we are taking action. Today, we filed an antitrust lawsuit against the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, 4 of its key members, and the World Federation of Advertisers. These organizations targeted our company and you, our users. The evidence and facts are on our side. They conspire to boycott X, which threatens our ability to thrive in the future. That puts your global town square, the one place that you can express yourself freely and openly, at long-term risk. People are hurt when the marketplace of ideas is constricted. No small group of people should be able to monopolize what gets monetized. This group is no match for the power of our users. All of you, the very same users that have driven usage of X to all-time highs. I joined X because I believe in the power of the global town square. It's users like you, people of all backgrounds and opinions, who make X indispensable. You deserve an open platform where your views can be expressed without restriction and without fear. To all of you who have been part of this transformative journey that we're on, thank you. Rest assured, X has never been more committed to innovating and expanding all of our global town square.
Rumble has joined X to sue a cartel of advertisers and ad agency who conspire to block ad revenue from going to certain platform and content creators. GAMS was a conspiracy to perpetrate an advertiser boycott of Rumble and others, and that is illegal. And Stefan made some Colorado off-road history with the first Cybertruck to summit Red Cone Trail. Not a real off-road truck, they said. And we got some more example of Cybertruck doing real work, proving all the doubters wrong, hereby hauling a 5,400 pound pallet of concrete mixed bags to a work site. And Tucker Carlson also gave a positive review of the Cybertruck, and the farmer that used the vehicle loved the Cybertruck, and there was basically nothing he couldn't do with the Cybertruck instead of his old Ford F-350. And some of the off-road he did, he even said that it would have killed the F-350. So he really liked it, a guy in the middle of nowhere. And that was also just such a good ad for the Cybertruck, with over 36 million views and counting as of writing this.
Now watch this. A little bit of a difference.
Damn.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, actually, my head.
Your cheeks go like this. Okay, here's a jump right here. Ready?
Shout.
Nope, didn't get it. Too heavy. Won't jump. My truck would have been off the ground right there. And when we were towing that trailer, you guys, towing the trailer, it just corners like a dream. I mean, it's handling these bumps pretty good, I think.
Yeah, not bad.
It's capping me out at like 24 miles an hour, which is pretty fast on a road like this.
Oh, we're going 50.
Pretty capable vehicle.
Yeah.
No way you could do this in either one of our trucks and be anything left of it.
It would tear the truck up.
Yeah.
And I know the guy in the Tucker video said the Cybertruck was too heavy to jump, but do you want to see the Cybertruck jump? Well, okay, here you go. And the Cybertruck also beat the F-150 in a towing test done by the Fast Lane Trucks, where they towed 10,500 pounds up a mountain. The F-150 overheated twice, and the Cybertruck didn't even seem to break a sweat. And the Cyber Beast almost beat a $2.5 million Koenigsegg Agera in a drag race. Just listen to the fear in the man's voice at the end when he thinks the Agera is losing to the Cyber Beast.
Let's go! Oh, just barely! Let's go! Oh, no! No!
An AI driver on X Road, Full Self-Driving 12.5, has learned it's safer to ignore lane lines and drive more centered in the road when there is no traffic around. This feels like emergent behavior. Nice. And in the full self-driving version 12.5.1.2, full self-driving is finally coming to their Cybertruck, but also including earlier and more natural lane-changing decisions, vision-only driver monetization with sunglasses, end-to-end on the highway, and as Homard wrote on X, extremely exciting month for full self-driving ahead. And Elon replied, yep. And Figure showed off their Figure 2 this week. Looks like a really nice robot. Still, just like Tesla, it is all just demos, so we still don't know what it can really do in real life, just as we don't know much about the Tesla robot yet. But can't wait until either Tesla or Figure is ready to show us a little more, maybe a live demo of such. But nice to see the humanoid robot race is still on, and we did get to see Figure 2 doing some stuff at the BMW factory. So that was pretty cool to see, and I hope we'll get to see a lot more soon. And Brandenburg's Minister-President Wojtke on Giga Berlin, in an interview shared by Alex on X, the interviewer said, in retrospect, is the settlement the right step? And Wojtke said, a clear yes. We have added 12,000 industrial jobs. It would have been crazy if we had to say we didn't want this settlement because some problems might arise. Tesla is a huge success for us. I am happy every time I drive past the plant. The individual problems that arise when setting up such a large industrial operation are being solved. And if you look closely, they seem bigger in the discussion than they actually are. For example, Tesla recycles almost 100% of the industrial wastewater. The company only used around a quarter of the water that was contractually guaranteed to it. However, Tesla would do well to communicate more proactively and transparently. Yes, the most environmentally friendly car factory on the planet, and this is the car factory the so-called activists are protesting against. Yes, nothing suspicious about that. And speaking of Berlin, we did see that Tesla's train that commutes workers to and from the factory is now all electric. So nice to see. Wonder what the activists have to say about that. And GM has more software problems with the EVs once again stopping sales. As they wrote on GM Authority, a software to hardware integration issue with the Cadillac Lyriq has prompted General Motors to issue a stop sale order on some 2023 Cadillac Lyriqs and 2024 Cadillac Lyriq units, which prohibit deliveries of the affected units to customers until a fix is eventually applied. At this point, the exact number of Cadillac Lyriq units affected by the issue is still being assessed. A service bulletin regarding the problem has not yet been sent to dealers as of the time of writing this. Yes, it's not easy trying to become a software company. And the hydrogen saga continues, as they wrote in Hydrogen Insight. Long-distance green hydrogen imports will be up to 5 times more expensive than previously thought. What a surprise. New scientific paper says that the levelized cost of liquefied renewable hydrogen shipped from Australia to South Korea would be about $30 per kilo today, falling to an still unaffordable $18 per kilo in 2050. So that would mean that in 2050, so 26 years from now, it will still cost you about $90 to fill up the Toyota Mirai. And today I can fill up my Tesla Model 3 with about the same range of the Mirai for just $15 at home. And that is today. I've even had days where I got paid to fill up my car because we had too much renewable in the grid, as we have 2/3 of our grid already coming from renewable sources. So today it is like 10 times cheaper to fill up your EV at home than filling up your hydrogen car at the stations. This is never something that people are willing to pay extra for a hydrogen car. It has never made sense, and it seems like every other month a new study comes out showing just how stupid hydrogen for transportation is. And Ford CEO Jim Farley said during their earnings call, customers' user data and cost of ownership data would indicate about 50% of customers who buys automobiles would be better served buying an electric vehicle. Yep, and more people are going to realize this, and the price of EVs will only go down from here on out as more affordable models are also coming in the coming years. It will quickly make the percentage 99% of the time customers are better off with an EV. And if you have not seen it yet, I have released my third video on my new channel, Best in Tech, where we go to have some fun in the snow in Finland, where we get to have some fun in hovercraft and also check out this new invention called the 18 wheels. Definitely check it out, link down below. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest supporters of this channel. My new Patreon producer, David Heat. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. A little showcase of married life versus single life. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheet also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.